Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more of the Sims 4
Oi,
Impossible
Griff.
Things, which is our Alice in Wonderland 7 Gen Legacy Challenge, and Cosmo's old now.
Yes, and
Obviously, you
Narf.
knew what we were doing. I told you I was going to do the time skip, and we did a time skip, so Cosmo's old now. Ace is all grown up. He's actually a young adult. I didn't know what I was gonna do at the end of the last part. Was he gonna be
Huh?
teen, whatever? I'm like, let's make him a young adult
Broken.
already. It'll be easier. I think he's a young adult. I don't remember. You can see him. He's on the thumbnail, but um, yes, he is now a young adult. I think he's got some vampire powers. Um, I did make him a prime vampire because theoretically it's been a few years and he would have been building his powers while he was a teenager and stuff like that, and I didn't want him to be like totally vampire useless. You know what I mean? Um, but they've
Malfoy, Bifose.
he's been doing his best with Cosmo and Pluto because Pluto is a little because he's been eaten alive by the mother plant. So listen, I know. Listen, you don't have to fight me, guys. You don't have to fight me. I didn't want to kill Pluto either, okay? Like, but he is not the like it's very difficult. I would assume that at this point with how the mother plant's been affecting him for what is amounts to centuries probably, that his powers are probably not what they used to be. Um, but so he can't really teach Ace more than he's already done at this point. Like, he's the only one that Ace has as a teacher. Probably Orion. I would assume Orion's come over too, because he's still alive. Um, and he's technically your great great grandfather because he was Pluto's lover, so but Archimedes is the one that really needs to teach you. So you're going to have to go find him now. Anyway, he was already erratic and hot-headed. He aged up childish. I don't remember. I just randomized it. So, oh no, we actually put that. Those were his. No, those are the traits that were in the thing. I was like, I randomized. No, I didn't. He's supposed to do stuff, but we're wrapping it up. So he's not doing jack shit aside from just being here for a short period of time. You guys did suggest that Archimedes and Ace start another legacy down the road if we do another occult one. And you know what? Not opposed to it, because you know how I like throwing my Sims from other games in the background and like whatever. So I am not opposed to these two like eventually starting a legacy of their own, and to be fair, or like their child would, and then you know, uh, they would have to exist in the background because they're vampires, and that means Pluto would have to come along. At that point, we would have to retcon like that, like it's not really a retcon, is it? But at that point the canon would be Cosmo's long since dead, so he probably wouldn't come along. But then Pluto would get to come along. Anyway, his color's got to be blue again. So, you're lucky. Everyone in your family's beautiful. Because you're quite lovely too. And those are just the eyes that he had, the blue and the red. And I just left them. Even though it's not the eye set that is my current, like, top favorite that I'm used to using. Why is it that we do this with custom content? You're like, this is my favorite, whatever, eye set, skin detail, whatever. And you use it all the time. And then all of a sudden a new one comes. Except for my skin overlay and Kijiko lashes. Nothing has ever topped those, and it's been 84 years. We've been using the same skin detail. It's the same one. It's the same one. All of my Sims have the same one. No wonder they all have same face, but whatever, it's fine. So there you go. There's one outfit. You've seen him on the thumbnail, but, I only gave him 2 outfits because, like, he's not going to be around for that long. I feel bad saying that, but he's not. But again, if we do Bird, I don't know what your fucking problem is, but if you want to tell stories, come the fuck over here and tell people stories instead of just yakking over there like an ass. What? Don't look at me like that. Don't stop trying to talk over me. It's annoying. I love you and I shouldn't yell at you for talking, but I'm sorry. But goddamn, he's just over there and it's like that's all I hear as I'm trying to talk. Get over here. Hi. Do you want to tell stories? Are you trying to tell people stuff? You could come here and tell people stuff. But don't sit over there and scream about it. Come here and tell people's. You could talk into the microphone. You don't want to? Then why the fuck are you just sitting over there and you won't shut your mouth? You're so weird. He's like, I want attention. I know. It's very late. We're getting very behind doing all of our stuff today because we had to work so fucking long and it took 2 hours longer than it should have. And I'm fucking annoyed and I'm tired and crampy and good Lord. I swear to God. This is why I take Mondays off when we work Friday nights and Saturdays because what the fuck. Anyway, his party wear. Look at you. Yeah, you just... Anyway. Swimwear is okay. It's just trees moving. What? You don't see a bug, do you? I swear to God, bird. What? What are you looking at? Hot weather outfit. I'm sorry, he's just being... And then a cold weather outfit. And then his... I'm going to unlink them because I don't want... His vampire form. I love it. I love it so much. Look at you, you little slut. I love it. I think all of his outfits are the same in his vampire form. Oh, man. Look at you. Just lovely. Just so much fun. Horns and everything. Your eyes are still the same. I'm pretty sure they're all the same. Wait a minute. Oh, the necklace color is different. I think because I changed the color and the accessories didn't copy. It's fine. Yeah, I changed them. It's alright. You know what? I don't even... To be fair, now I don't know. Like, now I don't know which one I like better. I changed the lighter one because it stood out better, but the darker one works better. Let's go up here. No, let's go up here. Let's actually go back and, like, change the color. And let's go to accessories and... Let's see if it changes them back. There we go. I think I do like the darker ones. You know, they stood out against your skin tone, but I actually like it a little bit better. And I like the fact that the eyeliner is like a heart. And then they had it in blue. It works so perfectly because, like, you know, whatever. Anyway, there we go. Fun times. I don't know if I saved you to my gallery. I'm sure I did, but whatever. He's not gonna die. It'll be okay. But and obviously you can see Archimedes is gone because Archimedes is now just run away to go live in the woods for a little while. And so Ace has been growing up, learning as much as he can from Pluto and again, Orion occasionally. But like Pluto is not the strong, like, vampire he used to be because of the mother plant infection and everything. Like, it takes a lot for him to maintain his powers. Shh. I know he's perfectly fine, but, like, let's just go with that. So he can only teach up to a certain point, even though he's still a master vampire. You know what I mean? He's a grandmaster, so he's the highest rank. It's just, you know, you can only train so much without that mother plant infection getting to you. So he's got to conserve his strength for himself so he doesn't die, because we don't want you to die. You've been chaos the whole fucking time, and we love you for it. But yeah, and so obviously he's got a bed in here now. Well, that was the bed he had before, right? He had that as a kid. So I was like, oh, I did put a bed in. No, he had that as a kid. Because I was like, I didn't bother making over the room or doing anything here. I'm not concerned about it. I feel like this is probably him talking about the fact that he needs better training. You know, like, and all of that. Like, I've gotten as much, but I don't know what to do because, you know, and Cosmo's gonna have to tell him. Cosmo, you're gonna have to tell him. I'm gonna give him these plasma packs. Although, because he just aged up with the... Now he still has the manifesting thing and whatever, so... Shh. Don't worry about that, because I aged him up to a teenager, then subtracted the age and whatever, so... But yeah, I mean, he remembers Archimedes from when he was a child. You know what I mean? But again, okay, it's been his normal human lifespan, and now that he's been a vampire, now he's an adult for a while, it's probably been. I mean, has it been a normal human lifespan? Has it been like 20 years? You know, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. That part I didn't think about. But it's been a while, like, and they don't talk about Archimedes in front of him. You know what I mean? Are you getting abducted? What the fuck? What the fuck? Seriously, bitch? What the fuck? Anyway, don't knock up my fucking boy, alright? Leave him alone. That's your grandkid. Oh god, somebody else is going too. It's probably Cosmo. Nope. No? No, it's just somebody's... Maybe she... No? Okay, maybe it was just from this and it just triggered over there. Or they just were like, fuck that shit, not going. Oh, maybe he was gonna go, but he waited too long because he was in the bath. Because I just saw him shake like he couldn't get somewhere. And I know you ain't stuck there because there's no cup or anything anyway, so... Yeah, so they would probably be talking about this because Pluto's like, I can't maintain teaching him, like, you know? He needs, you know what he needs? And, like, whether he likes it or not, we need to tell Ace about Archimedes, and Archimedes is gonna have to deal with it, you know? Because Pluto's been fighting the mother plant for so long, you know? And vampire powers are stronger at night, but of course Pluto is possessed half the night. So, you know. And unfortunately with everyone else dead, like in the family and all the tragedy and everything like that, they're like, maybe we should tell him. Or well, maybe they don't tell him. They're like, that's something that Archimedes should do. Tell him, like, whatever. Because he remembers, like I said, he remembers Archimedes. And he'd be like, why do I remember having... There was always someone else here, because he, like, remembers his parents a little bit. But he's like, but it's not just them. There was somebody else. And... But I think... He remembers Archimedes' name. He remembers his name. He remembers all of it very vividly, but he doesn't say that out loud because he feels like he's crazy because they're like, what are you talking about? I mean, there are photos of Archimedes all around, so they're like, no, Archimedes is gone. No, I mean, well, yeah, there's photos of Archimedes. It's not like they took him down or anything like that. And didn't we already discuss this? See, I'm making shit up as I go, guys. Right, it was, they were just gonna tell him, no, he's gone. As in, like, and kind of just let Ace think he's dead. But, and I think for a while Ace believed that, like, oh, he died. Okay. But, you know, and as a child, like, he lost both of his parents and then Archimedes. You know what I mean? So he's like, oh, okay. Like, I think he just accepted it when they said Archimedes is gone, they wanted him to think Archimedes was dead, so he kind of just believed that. But as he's gotten older, especially because, again, we're going with the shh, just pretend he's Morgan reincarnated, even though Morgan's ghost is still running around. Just pretend, because I didn't think about that beforehand, and that would have been genius. So we're just going to retcon that into the story. I better not. No, that's okay. That's Wesley over there. I'm like, that better not be. Morgan, don't come out while we're here. You know, but as he's gotten older, he's kind of just felt like Archimedes isn't dead. And I feel like, especially with Pluto not being able to teach him more vampire stuff, you can only learn so much vampire shit from ghosts in the house. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I feel like Archimedes would have told Cosmo and Pluto, like, don't tell him about me. I'm just leaving. Like, whatever. Because it was too hard for him knowing that Morgan was floating around in here. And that's why he left, so we know that. But I feel like Ace would have gone down into the family crypt and realized that, like, Archimedes doesn't have a tombstone there, and he never really questioned it when they went down, because it would always be like, oh, yep, go, you know, like, especially on any kind of like holidays, Remembrance Day kind of things, it would have always been like, oh, you know what, go, deal with your parents' tombstones and whatever, and we'll take care of the rest. And maybe there was always something there to make him think that it was Archimedes' tombstone or like urn or whatever, but then he realizes it's not, especially with all the ghosts around. Archimedes never comes out. And as he's gotten older, he's starting to remember things, because we're going to use the life and death kind of rules where they, Sims can recognize connections to people, where he would recognize in himself that there is some kind of connection with Arkham, right? And he's like, but I don't, know what it is. And anytime he's looking at photos, and probably, to be fair, looking at this one, like Archimedes' room would probably be like off limits. It'd probably be locked and whatnot, but he'd have gotten in there and he'd seen this. Like, and something would have hit him, that like something about this is familiar. Like, oh, I remember that. Because that's Arkham and Morgan, right? And he'd be like, that was like centuries ago. How the fuck can I remember that? And I think he would start putting the pieces together. You know what I mean? Especially because the ghosts come out all the time. You know what I mean? He can talk to his ancestral ghosts, but Arkham's never there. Morgan's never there. You know what I mean? And like, again, the ghosts come out randomly. Like, Crowley isn't here all the time. It's not like in every night all the ghosts come out. It's like they're random and stuff, but it's frequent enough that over the last like couple of decades, because he's probably in his early to mid 20s at this point, right? That like, neither one of them have ever come out, and maybe he would have tried doing some kind of summoning to get them, because you can go down there and say summon ghost, you know what I mean, on the gravestones. So he would have tried that, and Morgan never would have come out, but then he realizes that Arkham's tombstone, or like the urn, is just for show. It's totally empty. Like, you could probably, like, and even though Morgan's ashes are in there, there's nothing else there. There's no other power there to be able to feel and go, something is in here. Like, since Crowley's here, we'll talk about Crowley. Like, you went to Crowley's urn. Yes, Crowley's ashes are in there. And also, you would be able to feel that Crowley's spirit is in there. You know what I mean? So you could summon him, but he's got nothing with Arkham and Morgan, right? And so, let's just say when he was just talking to Crowley, he's asking questions, and he's been asking questions of the ghosts and everything. And they're like, oh, no, Morgan crossed over. Morgan's not here anymore. So he knows that Morgan's spirit's just not there. It's like, no, they're like, no, Morgan was always here, but then he crossed over? I don't know if the spirits would necessarily know, or maybe they do know and they just haven't said anything. They're like, no, Morgan's spirit's gone, like, whatever. And then if he asked, they'd be like, oh, Archimedes never died. Like, what? He's still alive. Like, they're like, no, he's never been here. Like, because, like, unless they were physically around when he died, but they'd be like, he's never been here. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not dead. So I feel like that would lead Ace to questioning everything and being like, why are you lying? See, so maybe you're asking, like, get to know. You're over here, like, and see, they're talking about death. He's like, so I've been talking to the ghosts, and why do I have memories of Archimedes? Why? And I think that he probably has, you know what we should do? Hold on. Can I make a copy of this? Create a copy. I want to put this in your inventory, but I do want to leave it in the house for sanctity's sake. But I want you to take a copy of it because I want you to have it in your inventory. So I want to say that you took it, but like I want to leave it in the house. You know what I mean? Um, so I want him to be like, why do I remember when this photo was taken? I was nowhere near fucking alive. This is centuries ago. What the shit? And then, like, Cosmo, did you just... That's true. Cosmo's an alien. Cosmo could have just been trying to... Maybe Cosmo's been kind of erasing Ace's memory bit by bit, like as he starts to question things as he's getting a little bit older, and he's been using his alien powers, but now he's getting older, and it's harder to maintain that, and Ace is getting stronger as a vampire, so it's harder, you know, between Cosmo's age and Ace's power to, like, erase things. So maybe that's what he just tried to do, and Ace is like, how the fuck? You've been doing that to me my whole fucking life, haven't you? And then, like, you know, so then he's gonna talk to Pluto and be like, listen, I know what's happening with you. Like, I know that you've been doing your best trying to teach me, but you know that you can't anymore at this point. And then, like, and Cosmo, I'm like, why do I remember this photo? Why? Like, and especially because more things have probably surfaced over the course of him growing up that he's remembered that Cosmo's just kind of, but he hasn't really erased. It's more like he's shoved them in the back closet and locked the door. Like, they've never left Ace's memory, but it's just like, because I don't think Cosmo's powers could actually erase a vampire's memory, but, like, fully, but they can definitely, like, shadow those memories and hide them, you know? But also, even if he could erase them, like, Ace rediscovers them. And again, Cosmo now being old is like, I can't do this anymore. Like, he's too powerful. You can't teach him anymore. We got nothing, like, but he's going to be stunted forever. He's never going to get to be a Grandmaster Vampire because you can't teach him anymore, Pluto, because you're getting weaker. And, like, I can't erase his memories. Like, we just have to fucking tell him. So I feel like this is their little discussion where they're kind of telling him, okay, never mind, he's going to walk away. But let's just pretend that was their conversation where they're kind of going to have to tell him, no, you know, you are, like, you recognize this photo because you, oh, look at that. And then Archimedes just said, congratulations on your recent birthday. Archimedes, you're supposed to be hiding in the woods. They're like, you recognize that because you are Morgan reincarnated. Like, that was you. You are Morgan. Like, and they would probably have told him everything that happened, like, when Asphodel was pregnant with you, like, Archimedes was just strangely attracted to him, and everything he was drawn to you because you're his soulmate, reincarnated, and, you know, it was just really difficult for him to see you as you, like, and not Morgan. You know what I mean? Because you just, like, it's almost like the parents who are like, oh, my child's going to grow up and you're going to live vicariously through your kid. My kid's going to grow up. My son's going to grow up and be on the football team and be this football star that I never got to be. And instead of appreciating the fact that maybe your kid wants to play ballet, like do ballet instead of play football, you know what I mean? Play ballet. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you, like, it's something like that. Like, Archimedes knew, I just keep seeing Ace as Morgan and he needs to develop who he is as a person without me trying to bring Morgan out. You know what I mean? Like, because Morgan, whatever made Morgan Morgan is gone, you know? And Ace is his own person and Archimedes didn't kind of want to overshadow that, you know? So that's also why he left. Plus it was just, like, I think it was just really hard for him knowing that, like, his soulmate was always a spirit and then just crossed over and is now gone and he's never going to see him again. And it was like, there might have been a little bit of resentment at the time too. Like, as much as he wanted to be, and he was always good with Ace, you know what I mean? But it was also like but you took my soulmate away from me because he was reincarnated into you and he could have still been here if you weren't born. And that's not the right way to think of it because he loved the kid. You know what I mean? This is his descendant. Again, that's a little creepy and fucked up, but like, whatever, this whole thing. They've all been doing each other from the very beginning. So like, whatever. This is not the family friendly fucking Let's Play. Okay. But I think they, like, Cosmo and Pluto would have told him and been like, okay, so, this is what happened. And he left because he just wanted you to be able to be who you're supposed to be. But like, now that you're a full-fledged vampire, actually, as a young adult, to be fair, you're gonna be like in your 20s when you become like this young adult version of the vampire. He's been like, who knows, it could have been 50, it could be 50 years after he turned young adult vampire when they stop aging. So he could be like 75 years old at this point. We don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, to be fair, Cosmo's like 80 at this fucking point, so. Or older. Aliens, we could say, do live a long time, but I didn't want to kill Cosmo. You know what I mean? But to be fair, Cosmo is... He's only lived 42 days. Shh. But you know what I mean? Like, Cosmo, as an alien, could live longer. So let's say Cosmo's in his hundreds. So he's been around. So, like, Ace could be, like, 50, 60, 70 years old. We don't know at this point. You know what I mean? It's not like I was thinking originally, like, oh, you're, like, in your mid-20s. You look like you're in your, like, mid-20s, but you've been that way for decades. So, are you 40? Who knows? Whatever. So it's been a while. I mean, that makes a little more sense that it's been a lot longer. And then Cosmo, again, deleting memories. But Cosmo, again, as an alien, even though he's going to, his lifespan's longer, he's an elder, he's going to be an elder. Aliens really aren't, but we're going to pretend, okay? So I feel like they've finally told him, like, no, Archimedes is still out there, and because Ace has started to remember things, and he's like, why do I remember this? And he's not dead, and so they're kind of like, yeah, so this is why we just told you he was gone. We never said dead, you just ran with it because your parents had died, and we just didn't correct you, and yeah, I know it was just it was a lie through omission. It was a lie of not correcting you. But yeah, no, you're right. Archimedes isn't dead. He's still out there. He disappeared like fucking, maybe it was like close to 100 years ago now. I don't know. We don't know. Whatever, timeline. Should have thought of that better. But again, we're making this up as we go, guys, okay? We're winging it here. But now that Ace is kind of remembering shit and knows, they're like, now that you kind of remember your past and you're finding out who you are. I mean, I feel like this would have happened a couple years ago. Like, they would have had this conversation and they're like, now that you're kind of remembering this, like, you should just fully connect with that, figure everything out, and then, if you want to know where Arkham is, we'll tell you. Like, because they know where he is. And I feel like it probably would have been difficult at first for Ace to, like, deal with, like, knowing that they've been kind of hiding this all and trying to erase these memories. And it's going to take him a little while to process it all, especially, like, when Cosmos stops trying to erase those memories or shove them in a back corner, So it's probably been a few years since he started recovering these that he's kind of recovered all the memories, put all the pieces together, and then, now that he's, like, hit the wall where he can't learn anything more from Pluto. And maybe at first he was also mad that, like, Archimedes left. Like, you left me! Wait a minute, what the fuck? But, so it took him a little time to get over and deal with that, but now he knows that, like, he's got to go find him. Like, because he wants to find him. I think he was a little bit mad, probably, about being abandoned like that. And then, of course, them lying to him and trying to delete his memories. So he's a little bit mad at everybody. But, so you went through your emo, teenage, angry phase as, like, a young adult vampire. You know what I mean? I don't know, Because, like, you didn't know they were erasing your memories and shit. And I feel like now he's probably come to terms with it. But also, because you're a little upset. Again, he's a little upset Archimedes left, whatever. But now it's also like, even though he was mad about it, he was like, yeah, whatever. Okay. No, 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 no. You are not gonna bang. You're nope, 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 nope. I know what you want, so let's do this. See, that was you maybe. It wasn't the woohoo with Pluto that you wanted. You're getting urges now. You need to see your soulmate. And you're like, as mad as I was that he left, like, I need to see him. Like, I can't be away from him anymore. You know, it's going to be difficult. But maybe Ace has also been afraid because he's like, okay, I know that I used to be Morgan and I have some of those memories, but yeah, even though there might be the memories of who you were when you were Morgan, you're still Ace. You know what I mean? You're not Morgan. You're not that person anymore. Like, it's a part of who you are. But it's kind of like growing up. Like, when you were 10, you have memories of who you were when you were 10. But, like, when you're in your 20s and 30s or whatever, you're not that same 10-year-old. That little 10-year-old always lives inside of you. But you change. You know what I mean? So, like, it's kind of like that. Like, do not try for baby. No, stop it. All right, we have got to go save and manage worlds. We got to move him out. We got to do this. Okay? We just got to, because he knows exactly where he's going. He's like, I am desperate for my soulmate. I need to be with him now. Like, I know. But I think he was afraid that, like, Archimedes wouldn't, you know what I mean? That would be still thinking of him like Morgan and expecting him to be someone he's not anymore. You know what I mean? But that's not how it's going to go. So we are going to transfer Sims between households. We're going to take Ace and we're going to move him in. He's in Henford on Bagley. So this way we never lose that house. They're always there. We are going to go over here. We're going to play in this little tiny... Where did I move him? Oh, over here in this tiny little cottage. I just slapped him in this little... Okay. In this little cottage. You know, he still has his little telescope. He's got some, like, he's got a little science basement so he can still do his scientist things. He's still been working at the science lab he basically runs that fucking lab. So, you know, I think, oh, shit. You're late for work. So why don't we have you go to work quickly? I'll have you come home. I'm going to stop you being sad about mourning someone, and we're going to say that Ace kind of came here, but Archimedes was away, and he kind of just let himself in. So this is the little house. It was already here. I just moved him the fuck in, so what save file are we using? I don't know, I told you in the beginning, and it's probably linked if we're whatever. So I don't know if this one was a house that was already here or they built it for the save file, whatever. I just deleted some of the plots back here for plants and put this, and I built us a little, I just built this little shed so we can put our decor box in, and then we have stairs that go down into the little basement so he can do his sciencey things. So anyway, we're going to say that Ace kind of broke in, just kind of let himself in. You know, he's a vampire, whatever. And he's going to wait, like, while Archimedes is at work and then kind of surprise him. Archimedes is going to fucking know the second he comes home, like, someone's in my motherfucking house. But at first, when he first gets home, he's like, someone's in my house. And then he just kind of fucking knows. It's one of those, like, instantaneous, you're like, someone is it? Oh, it's you. I know who you are. Like, he knows. He knows. You know what I mean? He's going straight for the chemical analyzer. Can you come down here and ask him to watch? What are you doing? Can we come down here, ask him to watch you play and talk to yourself? I need you to go talk to him. Okay. Why don't you fly here as a bat? Oh, not you. I meant you. I was like, why does Archimedes not have more teleportation things? Okay. So, you know, and then they're going to have their little discussion now. will you stop talking with your friends and talk to this man, please?
So,
Like, for God's sakes. You know?
Pagorbane.
So,
Huh.
and then they're gonna have their little conversation, like, Archimedes being and Archimedes has not changed. I could have changed him, but we just love him the way he is, so we're not going to. Like, discuss plasma flavors. Good. I want you guys to, talk. And, I feel like Ace would have been like, yeah, no, I remember everything. But I was afraid, and then tell him about, what Cosmo and Pluto were doing, and Archimedes is like, I haven't talked to them in forever. That's not true. He's like, I know how your training and everything's been going. I know how you've been doing because they keep me apprised of these things. I may have disappeared and not spoken to you, but I have never stopped caring and making sure you're okay. I wouldn't have left you with them if I thought anything bad was going to happen, and if anything was ever going to happen, I would have been in there in a second. You know what I mean? If they ever got attacked or something, or Cosmo died and Pluto was succumbing to his illness, they would have let Archimedes know, yeah, we're both dying, and he would have been there in a second. You know what I mean? He never would have left Ace completely. But, he would have to explain to Ace that, I knew when your father was pregnant, when Asphodel was pregnant, seems weird, when your father was pregnant with you, but it's the sense. He's like, I was oddly attracted to him. I didn't want to keep my hands off of him, despite the fact that he was my descendant's spouse and lover and whatever. But he's like, it was the realization that Morgan's soul was reincarnated into you of why I felt that way, and I didn't want you to grow up under that shadow. You know what I mean? I didn't want, and the fact that, even as, okay, an infant and a baby, he just kept, I kept associating you with Morgan. And that's not right, because then you never would have been able to be you. And obviously Ace would have that same conversation point. That's why, when they told me what was happening, when Cosmo's powers got to the point where he couldn't control my memories anymore, and they told me what happened, it's taken me years to come here, because I feel like Cosmo and Pluto probably would have told Arkham, Ace knows everything now, and he's, because Cosmo can't keep controlling, or would have probably told him this is going to happen, because Cosmo can't keep controlling him. You know what I mean? Can't keep pushing these memories under the surface anymore. And Archimedes has probably been waiting for this for quite some time. And Ace never showing up is but he doesn't ask about it. You know what I mean? He's like, okay, I'll be prepared for when it happens. But he doesn't ask, Pluto or Cosmo, so he didn't show up. How's it going? You know what I mean? He's just, and I think they might have told him at one point, he's dealing with stuff, and then, but he's going to come eventually, probably, but we're not forcing this, and he's like, don't force it, just let him do whatever, probably because part of him was it'd be better if he did. I don't want to, he didn't want to force it. He didn't want to push it. And he was probably afraid of the fallout and what was going to happen. Because, let's be real, your soulmate's reincarnated. What do you hope out of that? You don't want to associate that child with your soulmate. You don't want to burden that person with having to grow up feeling like they're in the shadow of their, last life. But from the moment they were in the womb that that's your soulmate and reincarnated, and you can't let that go. You know what I mean? So you're in a weird place, and you're like, I kind of don't want to overshadow the person that he is with who he used to be, but also I still want my soulmate back, and I don't know how to deal with that, So if I just stay away and we don't talk to each other, neither one of us will be disappointed. What if is better than whatever. You guys need to talk to each other. You're really not talking. And maybe that's what happened. I mean, this kind of works though, I guess. Like Ace is like, I'm coming here now. Like he just shows up with his stuff and he's like, or he just shows up and Archimedes is like, so you're here now. And he's like, yeah, my stuff's coming afterward. Like I'm staying here now because Pluto can't teach me anything anymore. Like Pluto's hit the limit of his power of being able to teach me and you have to teach me now. And like, it's your responsibility. And I think Ace would have been a little kind of like standoffish and a little angry about it. Because again, he's also afraid because he remembers everything now. And he wants to see Archimedes, but he's also like, but what if I'm not good enough? What if he's expecting me to be Morgan and I'm not the person he wants me to be? You know what I mean? So they're both in that weird little place, which is kind of adorable and sad. But listen, we hope you fall in love with each other because that's just what's supposed to happen. Butt hurt from sitting in high maintenance. I really want you guys to actually like have conversations. Mentor and logic. That could be cute. Flatter, sure. I want you guys to actually talk. But I feel like for the very beginning, when Ace first gets here, that Archimedes would very much, they would be kind of sticking to their own things. Like he would still teach him and mentor him in like vampire skills. I'm not worried about forcing them to do that right now. But, you know what I mean? But, okay, you're gonna go chat. Okay, that's fine. But it would be very hard for them to have normal conversations. They might be like, okay, yep, all right, let's have awkward conversations for a little bit. And it would take a, oh, never mind. That got a little, okay, maybe it was you flattered him. There was just a weird like, oh, okay. You know, before they kind of opened up and kind of got to know each other better and like talked. Don't transform him. That's so mean. Friendly. Can you give him a hug? Or not? You know what? You guys are... You're being a brat. You are being a brat, Archimedes. Is your soulmate here? You are being such a little weasel. Tell a joke about ducks. I need you to come over here and, request vampiric training. There you go. That'll be good. You know what I mean? So it would take a little while for them to kind of get used to each other, like, again, you know what I mean? And, like, Archimedes obviously wants to get to know Ace as the person that he is now, not who he used to be. And he's like, look, I know who you were, but again, that's why I left. I don't want to think you're Morgan. Like, I know he's in there, and I know you remember those things, but I want to know who you are, you know? And that's why you left. Oh, and look, you're already getting freaky. So I just wanted to see if you were ever going to do that on your own, and you... Apparently a vampire doesn't want to consume plasma sim. They can consume plasma packs. Their romance is already way the fuck up there, even though they didn't actually woohoo, so... You know... I mean, you can, woohoo is bats. Oh my god. And they just don't, though. Oh, there you go. There they go. They actually did. Okay. They autonomously went to woohoo, so I figured we might as well. And there you go. Now they're just instant romance. I was waiting. I was like, are they ever gonna, like, autonomously do this? Because we know what whores this family is. So that's why it works perfectly in the story, even though he's not really Morgan. You know. It would have been better, but we didn't need that because the whore family gene they just bang each other all the time. So, you know, I didn't really think they need too much prodding, and they really didn't. So, you know, there you go. Perfect. Well, ask him to be woohoo partners. So, ask him to be your lover. They have good compatibility. Like, that's kind of good. Archimedes adores Ace, and they're deeply connected. Epically inspired. Ace is inspired by Archimedes' stories of his more wild experiences. Those milestones aren't those are milestones not every sim can reach. He's impressed. Archimedes sure knows what he's doing, and Ace has nothing but respect. After they just woo, that's just funny. He sure knows what he's doing. He's had centuries to practice. And they're deeply connected. I like those sentiments. I love the adoring sentiment. It's always one of my favorites. Like, he just wants the best for Ace and thinks he's so wonderful. That's so fucking sweet. Like, that's so sweet and adorable and wonderful. But, like, it's so cute that I like epically inspired and impressed. Like, that is part of the adoring sentiment. Aww. And motivating. I've never seen those two, and I'm like, oh my god, wait a minute. They already have a soulmate they're already soulmates. We didn't have to rebirth Morgan into this kid. It worked out perfectly fine. Holy shit. Were you even soulmates with Morgan? I mean, we probably can't tell anymore because he's been dead for so long, but... Holy shit. Okay, well... You guys are, Oh, I mean, Jesus Christ. Alright, well, that worked out better than I could have hoped. You know? This is what you want when you're writing a story or crafting it as you go, or like when you already know how you want the end to work out. This is the way the end was going to work out to begin with. You know what I mean? At least having Archimedes still be alive and be Ace's best friend and whatever. And then I was like, that's initially where it was going to be. Archimedes was always going to be, I wanted him to stay alive the whole time and then be Ace's best friend. Like, I have that in my notebook. If Arkham's still alive, it'd be cute to be, like, Alice grows close to someone who's alive in the house, so when the caterpillar dies early and he feels okay leaving Alice, since he's already abandoned Alice in theory because of a broken heart, because the musical flower died. This is before I had their names and everything, and this was long, obviously, before we got to this point. And I put, if Arkham was still alive, it'd be cute if it's him, because he's the beginning of this. I mean, aside from Astrum, but, like, he died a long time ago, but, you know... But, like, Arkham, because he's a vampire, he'd still be around. And the fact that, like, it worked out this way, and then when everybody just started sleeping with each other in the family, and they just became a family full of incestual whores, it was like, you know what? Having them hook up would be even better. And the story just kind of wrote itself from there with Arkham trying to sleep with Asphodel so fucking much, and it was like, what the hell? Because, like, honestly... I really did want Asphodel and Alaric to just only ever love each other, but this family's whores, so, you know, whatever. So, I mean, that wrote well into the story, and then, like, these two now having good compatibility and working together, and we didn't even have to reincarnate Morgan into him. They're already soulmates. It's perfect. They just, listen. You gotta give props sometimes when the Sims do the shit that you want, because they usually don't. You're like, I want these two to fall in love, and they're like, we hate each other. And you're like, would you just work with me, you bastards? Or please stop, like, Asphodel and Alaric, please stop sleeping with everybody else in your family, and then they keep sleeping with everybody in the family. And you're like, damn it! But, like, these two, you know, Pluto being chaos and doing whatever the fuck he wants has always been his gig, okay? So I'm not really mad about him being an asshole. He's always been an asshole. We love him for it, okay? But everybody else, sometimes you're like, I have stories for you, and I need you to stop trying to pull a Pluto. We'd like to offer you interstellar opportunity. Nope. And then they're gonna... Oh. They're about to woohoo for the first time. No, they weren't. Look at Jesus Christ. Woohoo is bad. Oh, they're doing it on their own. The bat woohoo is adorable, and I love it. I love it. I love the fact that they just keep... You're fine. You're not grieving anymore. Trust me. Like, holy shit. Oh my god, you guys just keep going at it. Esteemy? Hell yeah, Jesus. I mean, I guess you should be glad that Archimedes is just, as powerful as he is, because you keep this up, you're gonna kill the man. And they're gonna do it again, aren't they? No, they're gonna go chat in the bathroom. But like this is like the fourth time. I asked them to do it once. They have now 3 times, now 5. 2 times it dropped off and they didn't complete the task, but
Dag.
no, they keep woohooing as bats. They really like doing each other as bats. They like the acrobatics. Bat ticks. You know what? Anyway, you got it. I've also never seen this, but I can't who knew bats were so romantic? Jesus. You guys are like, I like how it says they're gonna woohoo for the first time, when this is like the 8th time they've woohooed. Technically, it would be the 5th if they completed the other 2 times, but they just can't stop. Again, it writes itself so perfectly, all right, that they cannot keep their hands off each other. Like, that Ace showed up and was like, okay, and like they're worried about, and they really won't stop. We're in a fucking loop. Oh my god. Yeah, that's it. Take a break, girl. Jesus. They were gonna do it again, and then but like half of the time it drops off. But that's what happens now with autonomous woohoo. It like they'll be like, "You want to go do it?" And they're like, "Yeah," and then they just don't ever do anything. Like the action just drops, which kind of sucks. But I love the fact that they are just. You should guys just fucking get married now, all right? Oh my god, they're gonna do it again. Jesus Christ. This couldn't have ended better if I tried. Max the woohoo skill, Archimedes. Yeah, I mean... Again, they're gonna woohoo for the first time, but they're not. It's so weird. I mean, that would seem like a quickie, but... We should get you a shower so you could, like, do something like... You guys are... I'm surprised that nobody's knocked up at this point, is all I'm saying, with the amount of times you've boned and Risky Woohoo being on. I mean, we need an autonomous try for baby is what we need. Like, that would just wrap it up perfectly. I feel like we're doing likes affection. Hell yeah. Where we are, like, I don't mind coming back next week. Just to spend a little bit more time with them, just to see how their relationships, like... Oh, look at Cosmo calling. I heard you guys are close now. Good. Good friends. I mean... We might as well get married. I'm not gonna go that far, like, whatever. Although, to be fair, this is part, like, 165. It feels like a good place, but then Ace only gets, like, 1 episode? Really? So... I always forget about Vampires in the Mirror, and it's just so funny because it's now just a plumb bob talking to itself, because neither one of them shows up. But it's just like we're hitting our, like, hour time, but I don't... Like, part of me is like, there's really no reason to continue now that they're back together and their relationship actually worked out so fucking perfectly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, all right, well, we'll see if they get romantic, and then they just haven't stopped, and now they're like soulmates, and everything is perfect and wonderful with them. Like, you know? But, you know? But it doesn't seem like it's necessary. But like, when you call it an end, you gotta call it an end. You can't be like, well, we'll see. If I don't show back up, if this is done, if there's no episode next week, then this is the end. You know what I mean? I don't want to end it like that. But I don't really necessarily know if there is a reason to kind of come back next week. But maybe, you know what? We'll do it. We'll at least come back next week. For a little final bit, just to kind of see them together, spend a little bit more time with them, even though there's not... It might be a shorter part, who knows? But now that the story's kind of, like, wrapped itself up, we'll give, Ace a little bit more time with Archimedes, since we spent half of the episode with him back with Pluto and Cosmo, just kind of like rehashing the time jump thing. So, But yeah,
Weende.
are you stinky? No, you guys are talking. We should actually have you. Okay, so is this then? No, that's the right side. It's so weird sometimes. We'll give you the left side so you can sleep here.
Farb.
You know?
Oh.
Frifagasoy. Funiata, huh?
And
Yeah.
I feel like Ace would eventually
Yeah,
convince
well,
Archimedes to go back to the house.
Ringa.
But I'm not gonna move him back in. I'm just gonna leave him here. So next week we will come back. It'll probably be our last episode then. Like this would have been the great episode to like
Guido.
wrap it up and be done with, because then it would have been like part 165. But seeing them together and happy and in love and it working out perfectly makes me feel good. And then we'll give Ace a little bit more time. He's not going to get much. He got one thumbnail. He'll get 2. That'll be it. But you know what I mean? I'd rather leave it on a high note with that than, okay, let's finish all of his stuff that he needs to do and whatever. Like, no, let's leave it on a high, you know? Where it finishes up good. We had a big dip in the middle there for a while where it was like, we're just going through the motions. We're just doing stuff, whatever. But I like when it ends good. It's a nice little bow, but we'll have our little bow fray at the edges a little next time probably, but we will be back next week. Next week will probably be the last episode. We'll just kind of come in here with these two, just spend a little more time with them, see how things are going, just kind of continue letting them get to know each other again. See what happens, that type of a thing. Again, it might be a shorter part. Maybe it won't be super long. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. Wrapping it up right here, right now, when they just got back together seems like cutting it a little short, but also spending like 4 or 5, 6, like a couple more weeks on it doesn't. It seems like that would be dragging it out too much. So, I thought this week would be the last one. I thought we could tie it up nicely, but like I said, they're getting along so well. So we'll give them a little bit more time. We'll give them a little episode of their own just to kind of keep this little romance happening and see what goes on with them. And then, we'll wrap that up. So we'll just kind of, have okay, why do you have a fated mate thing? Why do you have a fated mate thing? Who did you get that with? We need to get rid of that. How do you have a fated mate? I have the mod in so werewolves don't can have the fated mate with anybody, but it does give every other occult a fated mate. And I'm not sure who the fuck your fated mate is, because your fated mate with Lou, let's remove that, because no. Lou was like your brother-in-law, right? So, okay. And that popped up, obviously, because of the mod that I added long after we started playing this, and because he probably flirted with Lou, and then because Lou's a werewolf. But we're going to get rid of that so you don't feel that way. I just like having that if I'm playing with werewolves, so werewolves don't only have a werewolf fated mate, they have any other kind of fated mate. So, did you just walk in my house?
Dag.
I guess we can invite you in, but it's weird that you came in my house to say hello. Okay.
Roy.
We could say no trespassing, but whatever. You're a strange person. Anyway, I'll wrap this part up here. We'll come back next week for our last episode. Oh, we'll end off June with this. And we'll start July with a new series. Oh. Unless I feel like, starting our new series in tandem. Because, I am kind of itching to start it. But, I was also considering starting it today anyway. Not putting it up today, because we already got 2 Sims things going up today. But, starting it this week anyway. You know what I mean? But it's, almost 3 o'clock, and I've
So
literally
dark.
only recorded the stuff that goes up Mondays.
Neeps
Because I had to
dark.
work 2 extra hours than I was expecting, and I didn't record anything last night because I was like, I'll take those extra things that I don't normally get done on Saturday and record them on Sunday, and it'll be cool because, like, I got Monday off, and now it's like, I'm lucky if I'm going to be able to finish anything tonight. Oh my god. This is why I take Mondays off after we work Friday and Saturdays, but anyway, I'm also hungry, so I'll wrap this part up here. I will see you guys next week for the end of this. With who? Oh my god.
Schwabe.
Oh. Fadish.
Oh my god, that's... Okay, I'm sorry. We're not... Okay. The romantic relationship with Archimedes and Morgan has fizzled away. Right as you are... You have become soulmates with Ace. That is almost perfect. Like, the game is almost like, see, your romantic with that love and the romance for Morgan is you left it in the past because you love Ace for who he is now. Even though a little part of him is Morgan, like even if 5% of him is Morgan, 95% of him is his own person, and you love that whole picture. You don't think of him as Morgan, so you let go of like Morgan as you knew him and accept Ace for who he is. See, that's like, it's like the game was like telling us like about Astra. There's some weird shit going on, but like, oh my god. Be flirted with. Can you guys take cute photos together? Wait a minute. Before we go, take a photo. Take a photo before you're just gonna clean the toilet. You don't have to pee, girl. Come on. Don't even. You really don't. I need a cute little photo of our, like, the start and the end. How it started, you and your brother. How it's ending, you and your descendant / soulmate. Like, ugh. You guys are so adorable. Archimedes, you're so beautiful. I'm still so proud of you. Give us a cute little flirty one. Give us a little romantic one. I know I could just click the button, but sometimes I just like doing this. All right, come on. Not that one, because I can't see her. There you go. That's adorable. There you go. It's cropped out, but, like, it's still cute. Anyway, I will see you guys next time for our last episode. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.